Everything has changed. Life as we know it has changed. Everywhere we look, we are confronted with images of people struggling to cope with a new way of life. This change is fact. It is true whether or not we choose to accept this new reality. This virus does not actually need us to even be aware of its existence to fundamentally change our lives. So my question to you is this: given all of this, how are you going to change? Hi, my name is Miri, and like you, I have been impacted to my core by everything that is going on. I'm scared. I'm hurting physically, economically, socially, psychologically. We are all of a sudden thrust into a situation where we need to find new ways of being. Because by the very nature of this disease, we cannot rely on what has gotten us through many a trauma in the past. Close social contact with our community and loved ones. And the scariest thing is that there is almost nothing we can do to change this fact. Let's face it, aside from listening to the authorities, and I mean the intelligent and knowledgeable authorities, we are powerless to remove this threat. There is nothing that we can do that is going to make life go back to the way it was. And therein is the point. We are at a crossroads. Each one of us in our own individual lives are at a crossroads. No matter what we do, we are going to have an impact on each other, on our economy, and on our own lives. We can choose to make this impact intentional, and we can choose to make it positive if we want. So I ask my question again. Given all of this, how are you going to change to adapt? Sure, we can crawl up, sit on the couch, and binge on Netflix. There is value in that. A vacation, even if forced, is sometimes needed. And watching high-quality programming can also have intellectual and creative benefits, among other things. I can talk about that another time. But the strategy of spending hours in front of a TV is more a way of hiding than dealing with the actual problem. And that problem is this: what is life going to look like for you when this is all over? What I'm getting at here is about finding a strategy that you can do to build resilience. Resilience is not just about coping with a situation or about weathering a storm or enduring some sort of trauma. It's about finding a way to thrive and grow despite the situation, while in the middle of the storm or given that the trauma is here. And one way of doing that is to be intentional about the decisions you make. So if you want to be intentional about your life and improve it in some way, then try this on for size. Figure out what you want life to look like when this is all over and start working towards that. That's it. That's the way forward. Use this crisis to grow. Now, if you want to do this together, because this is a journey that I am starting to, then let's do it together. This isn't going to be easy. Change never is. But together we are stronger. So let's do this together. Oh, at the appropriate social distance, of course. What I'm going to talk about is more than just finding a way to cope. I'm going to help you find a way to grow. Because you see, no matter who you are, your daily, weekly, and monthly routine will have been impacted by all this. And change is hard to deal with. So why build a new routine around spending hours watching TV? Because when life resumes to normal, and I really hope that it will for each and every one of you, you'll just force yourself to have to go through that change again so you can adapt to what life throws you at that point. Because guaranteed, you're not going to be able to go watching TV like this forever. So at some point, you'll have to suffer the pain that comes with change again if you do it that way. Instead, why not take the fact that you've been forced into a change right now and build the change that you will want to keep when life resumes? That way, you only have to suffer the pain of change once. So why not make this change intentional and therefore make it beneficial in the long term? So the process that we're going to do is pretty much this. First, we're going to decide where we individually want to go when this is all over. And also, we're going to benchmark where we are right now so that in the coming weeks, we're going to be able to analyze where we're starting from and implement small but critical changes so that over time, when life resumes, we're going to be where we want to be, or at least on the path to where we want to be. Now, ask yourself this, and this is something I do want you to share with your support community, whoever that is. What is the one thing that you can learn right now that's going to get you closer to that vision? Notice I asked, what is it you can learn rather than what is it you can do? Because even doing is, or at least should be, a form of learning. I mean, at least for true experts, every time they do, they're learning. That's why they're the experts. So let me ask you this question again. What is it that you can learn that will enhance your life and get you closer to that dream when life resumes? Because I guarantee you, whatever it is you want to learn, there's going to be free tutorials on the internet. There will be courses you can take, discussion groups you can join, people you can talk to online. All online, of course, social distancing and all that. But what I'm trying to say is that there are things that you can do to learn those skills right now, and learning is growth. So where am I going with this? Well, the good news is that by answering the question about what you can learn, you've already just shown yourself a glimpse of what that dream can look like. Now it's about building the routine into your life that's going to get you there. The next step then is celebrate. Yay! Congratulations. Today marks the first day of your new journey. And now, of course, the next step is to concretize that. So we're going to make a daily log of our activities, paying close attention to what times of the day you do something and how long you do it for. And you know what? That's it. It's as simple as that. Write a log of your activities. Don't overthink it, and don't change what you do just because you're embarrassed at how much time you spend, I don't know, on Netflix or scrolling through social media. No one's going to judge. And it's better to create an honest baseline than a dishonest one. Because by creating an honest baseline, you're going to set yourself up for two things, which we'll look at more closely in the coming weeks. But if you want to do this on your own, I will just explain it so you know what to pay attention to. The first thing that you're going to get by creating an honest baseline is to become familiar with the process of paying attention to your activities. Now, over time, we're going to turn that attention from mere observation of what's going on into something more deliberate and intentional, like strategic thinking or planning. But for now, or as you start, simply observe and record. And the second thing that creating an honest baseline is going to give you is true data. And that's why it's key to be honest, because with this data, we'll be able to customize and personalize the necessary steps that are going to work for you to build a strategy that's going to be exactly right for you. And well, that's it for now. Log your life as accurately and as honestly as you can. Next week, we'll move on and start reflecting on where we are. Now, as I said before, this is a journey that we should all be taking, whether it's with me, with others, or even just by yourself. I sincerely hope you can find a way to build in the change that you want. Now, if this is a journey you want to do with me, first off, let me say thank you for having confidence in me. Make a comment, say hi, tell me what it is you want to be learning. Second, if it helps, I've got a link to a page where you can download and print out a planning page. Now, I don't want you to have to spend any money trying something new that you might decide is not actually right for you. So that's why I'm providing this page. Now, what's important isn't that you log what you're doing in a beautiful way. What's important is that you log what you're doing. So use whatever you've got, whether it's my page or just a blank page. Whatever you have will work. And for the next week, I want you to keep track of everything you do and how much time you spend doing that activity. Now you'll notice if you use my planning page that I've got the times listed out in 15-minute increments. This is something I use so that I can make sure I don't miss out on any activity. But you know what? That's what works for me. Use whatever system works best for you. This week might even simply be about finding a system of logging activities that works for you. And you know what? That's fine, because all learning is valuable and a step in the right direction. Now, if you do use my page, you'll notice at the bottom I've provided you a little box that's called Legend. Now, this is important, but we'll start dealing with that in the coming weeks, so don't worry about that right now. Just write your activities down on the left-hand column and make any notes that you need on the rest of the page if you need to do that. And you know what? Just like that, congratulations. You have started your journey to be deliberate, intentional, and create positive change in your life. These are awful times. There is no denying or changing that. And given that we cannot change it, let's at least not make it a complete waste either. So let's take the first step towards building resilience. Let's make our forced change intentional.